What's up, everyone? Malachi Reborn here, back with another segment of Question of the Day. And I hope everyone's doing great. Yes, I'm having a super powerful day myself, and just getting started. I got a long night ahead of me. Anyways, today's Question of the Day video goes out to, drum roll please, Victor Rada. Congratulations, brother. You got the video today, and I am looking forward to things improving for you. I also want to do a quick shout out to the SOD squad. For those of you that don't know, the SOD is Shrine of Dionysus. This is a personal development group that I run. And if anyone is interested in checking it out, doing a trial, if you're watching this video, you're welcome to message me on Facebook, Malachi Reborn, and I'll get you access. All right? Okay, here we go. So Victor's question is, pull it up. All right. Victor's question is, how do you see truth so that it can make lasting changes and habits and thoughts? And then Victor goes on to say, the question is because he believes that when a person sees the truth about something, that's when they can expect to truly evolve. Very good question, brother. And the reason why it's a great question is because for the simple fact that you are seeking the answer to this question. You're asking questions that shows you are on the journey for seeking truth. And this is a very good quality to have, because when a person's on the path to truth, they have to know truth, they have to feel truth, they have to sense truth inside of themselves. And that is a process in itself. It makes a very what's the word looking for? Ethical individual. That's the only journey. That's the only way it could be. To really experience truth, the person would have to be ethical. So, congratulations on that, brother. But the first thing that we got to go over is we got to break down this word truth. We got to figure out what this truth is. And then once we figure out what truth is, then we'll get into the solution. All right? So when I look at your question, what I see here is, well, when it comes to truth, uh, first thing I want to say about truth is that truth can't really be truly explained with words. Why? Because truth has to be an experience, an inner experience. You see, words suck. I mean, the best that a person could do to explain a situation that happened is to use the words, or they can even try to use a video, or they can use, you know, symbols or whatever. But the best way for a person to truly experience a situation is they have to be in that situation themselves. Even when it comes to books, books at best does a poor job of trying to explain something that needs to be experienced inside of a person. So that's the whole thing about this truth thing. A truth situation is more like if you play the game telephone, as the person is passing the information along the line, the telephone line, it gets distorted. So this is what happens with truth when explained to you by another individual. It's more like, it's never going to really be 100% the truth, because you have to be able to experience inside of you. All right. So that brings up the next thing. Next thing I want to say is when it comes to truth, we have to realize that it's relevant to a person's perception of what truth is. It doesn't mean that if someone does something that's different than how you do it, that it's true or untrue. It just means that they're on their path, and their path is their perception, and this perception is true for them at that moment, at the moment. Let's take a bum for an example. You see, even the bum on the street has to know a level of truth and has to have a certain perception. And from this perception, the bum can even evolve to a next level of truth. And he doesn't need to know ultimate truth, or he doesn't need to know all the truth to be able to do so. He just needs to be able to get to the next step. Let's give an example. Maybe he didn't have anywhere to sleep at first. He decided, I just want to be a bum one day, and just sat on the corner, right? And he went to bed that night. He said, wait a second, I don't have anywhere to sleep. I'm cold. I'm really jacked up here. Well, guess what? As this bum, even the bum, as he keeps moving forward, eventually he found a nice, let's say, cardboard box somewhere on the side of an alley next to a dumpster or something. So you see, even the bum still makes progress, and he didn't need the truth or the ultimate truth in order to evolve. So as you can see, a person can always get closer to the truth, but it's just the problem is that when a person says they got it all figured out, that's the problem, right? That's where the person gets stuck. That's where a bum would get stuck. Even the bum says, even if the bum says this is the best he can do, he is now comfortable where he's at, and he doesn't want to change anymore. He put himself in a position where he can't move anymore. And I understand it, because we all do it from time to time. He would rather not face that there may be more for him to learn. So he holds on to the old ideology, and you know that's more. That's why his condition will stay the same, because he's just gonna hold on to it and say, no, I just suck. I'm a bum. I'm this. I'm that, and he's gonna say things to himself. He's programming himself in a certain way because he doesn't want to open himself up more to more information or changes. So that's not necessarily the best way to go. We got to be able to say to ourselves, and we got to be able to say to the world, that what I believe to be true at this time, yes, I get that there may be more to it. I just got to learn about it, and I got to open myself up to learn. Now, let's move over to ultimate truth. When it comes to ultimate truth, if two people are going in different directions, even if one starts this way, one starts this way, if they both say, my goal is to move towards the ultimate truth, and they stick to their intention and they don't waver off of that, then by definition of ultimate truth, they would have to get closer together again, or maybe even cross paths again. Why is this? Because ultimate truth would have kind of similar results. And here's why. You see, I give you an example. Like, if there's 1,000 people that have similar results, but they took different paths. Like, for instance, there's 1,000 people that you know play baseball, 1,000 people in the major league or whatever, right? They all play baseball and they're all good, but they didn't take the same path to get there. Some people grew up poor, some people grew up rich. They definitely didn't eat the same foods. They don't have the same habits. They don't have the same friends. They didn't learn the same things. They didn't have the same level of education. But for some way, they still found their way to the goal that they reached. They are successful in that field of, let's say, baseball. Now, will it ever be 100% the same? No, nothing in the universe is 100% the same. The only place that 100% exists is at the ultimate truth. So you may have heard me say something before. Well, I have a quote that I said. My highest degree of enlightenment is admitting that I really don't know shit. And it's very, very powerful saying that I said there, because, you know, it's when the person decides that they have it all together, that's when they get stuck. So I have to keep constantly reminding myself and other people that I really don't know, and that, I'm just using the best of my ability. And it it's really gonna take a person being humble to admit that they are wrong, or they may have been wrong, or that they have a new understanding. You have to always be open to new understandings. There are people that say they're teachers, and they're teaching things that they do not believe in anymore, but they have to stick to the theology or the doctrine, because if they say they change their mind, then they'll look like a hypocrite. And and they'd rather look like a hip. They'd rather be stable in their datum. We talked about that in the last uh, question of the day. They'd rather be stable on their old datum instead of advancing and moving towards a better one. That's going to hold them back in life because then they don't evolve that way. And so, when it comes to this ultimate truth, just like you guys hear me say, evolution is a journey, it's not a destination. I'm going to say the same thing about ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is not evolution is a journey, not a destination. So the same thing about ultimate truth. Ultimate truth is a journey, it's not a destination. We got to always continue moving forward on this path of seeking this truth. Now, as we're going over this, just like I just mentioned, the last question of the day we did was on certainty, and that's where we went over the stable datum concept, right, from L. Ron Hubbard. So as we're going over this situation, I want you to realize that you can also relate this question a bit to that previous question of the day as well, as far as continuing the journey. You see, how a person can create certainties, which is what the past video was about. That's what we went over. How the person can create certainty is only a way that they can gain confidence. And the way that they gain confidence is to take the step forward. So no step forward means that nothing gets done. And this same concept applies to the ultimate truth, or the same concept applies to when it comes to finding the truth. In order to gain more truth about something, we have to be willing to continue moving forward towards it. You can't just sit there and say, oh, I don't know, what should I do, what's the ultimate truth, because that would keep a person stuck from moving forward and calibrating. So let's not fall in the trap. Let's not get stuck trying to figure out what the truth is, because instead we should be taking action. Take action, and then we'll calibrate as we move forward into that ultimate truth. We might make mistakes here and there, might have to make changes here and there, but like we said, if two people are starting off in opposite directions and they keep their intention to get towards ultimate truth, and by that definition, they would both have to get close or cross paths again. Even the bum knows, even the bum knows that he got to take action to find the cardboard box in order to get to his next level of success, certainty, confidence, or whatever, or truth. So now that we got that whole thing about truth out of the way, let's get into the solution so that we can make lasting changes when it comes to, we said, habits and thoughts. All right? So when it comes to creating these lasting changes with habits and thoughts, the solution is to reprogram the mind. You have to reprogram the mind and see things in a way that's going to be beneficial to you. And yes, I know it's easier said than done, but this is the solution. You have to reprogram the mind and reprogram how you look at things and how you think about things. Have you guys heard about the Kybalion? We're going to come over here. I'm going to pull up the Kybalion here, and it says here, the first principle of the seven Hermetic principles is the principle of mentalism. And when I look at the principle of mentalism, the first sentence, it says, the all is mind. The universe is mental. I'm going to repeat that again. For the principle of mentalism, it says, the all is mind. The universe is mental. What does this mean? What does this mean? This means that the only thing that is true, the only thing that is real, the only thing that you need to worry about is your mind. The only thing that needs to be reprogrammed is your mind, the way you look at it. If this is true, if we're going by the Hermetic principles and we believe this to be true, that the principle of mentalism states that everything is your mind and the universe is mental, then this means that if you take control of your mind and if you understand your mind, you understand the complete universe. This is all a person would have to do to get any types of results that they're looking for. The next thing I want to go over is the sixth law. It says the principle of cause and effect. This is also one of the laws of the universe. Cause, effect. What does this mean? This means that whatever happens, whatever the result is, there is something that created that result. There is a beginning to that situation. It's cause and effect. I'm sure you guys get that already. All right. I'm going to get back more into that, but these two things will tie in together. So again, to reprogram the mind and see things in a way that's going to be beneficial to you, you're going to have to look into these laws of the universe, the principle of mentalism, and you have to look into the situation that your mind is everything that you need in order to understand the universe and understand what you got to do to be successful in life. All right, I'm going to give you some examples. Well, I'll give you one example. All right, let's say there's two twins. Two twins are brought up in the same household, right? And let's say they had a bad childhood and their father beat them with an extension cord. You can make your own example up. This is just what comes to mind at the moment. Now, these two twins got beat by the same extension cord at the same times, right? And then they both grew up. Now, what happened? One twin says, "Oh, I would never beat my children. I would never hit them with extension cord. I would never even touch them." Why? Because I remember what happened to me when I was growing up. My dad beat the shit out of me every day. The second twin it could be a situation where that twin goes, "Oh no, I beat the shit out of my kids every day." Why? Because my dad did it to me. So that's all I know. That's the only reason. That's the only way I know how to live. And what I want you to realize is that both of these people programmed their mind to think these two totally different things. It doesn't matter what happened in their external environment. What matters is how they looked at the world, how they saw life, how they saw things. And from this programming, it manifested their reality, created their reality. We see what we want to see, and we have to make the environment work for us in order to be able to reprogram our mind. For the SOD, we did a lecture recently about transmuting environmental energies. And what would happen is that as this occurs, we reinterpret what things mean to us, and in order to manifest the reality that we want. If you guys remember that lecture, we just did that one, and you guys can follow back up on it if anything. I think it was Gathering of the Shrine number 14, I believe, right? For those of you that weren't there, or for those that are interested in checking out the trial. All right. So your whole life, your mind was you could say programmed for you. The two twins, they both had the same external environment happening, and then the programming occurs different ways. Like the twins are not around each other all the time. Maybe the mother said one thing to one twin. Maybe the grandmother said something to another twin. Maybe one twin had a teacher. The other one had a priest that they went to, and they got programmed, right? And this programming is what people are dealing with today. This is what I'm saying. Your whole life, the TV has been programming your mind. School has been programming your mind. Religion has been programming your mind. And the solution is we have to take it back. We have to reprogram our mind. We have to reprogram our subconscious, right? Because this goes back to the other principle, like I was talking to you guys about, the cause and effect. All right, because the mind was programmed a certain way, the effect is that the twins turned out two totally different ways because of their programming. Right? So when it comes to cause and effect, it's not a coincidence that the two twins turned out differently. It's not magic that the two twins turned out differently. What we're doing right now is we're going through the exact procedure of how this happens. This is why when people go to psychiatrists, they say, I have a problem. I I shit my pants, and then no, I whatever problem they say they have. I shit my pants in the middle of the day, and for no reason. The psychologist is gonna ask them, tell me about when you were 5 years old. Tell me about when you were 6 years old. Why is this? Because the psychologist, the psychiatrist, or whatever the fuck, they're trying to go back into the person's past to find out what's inside of that person's subconscious, to find out what happened in that person's programming that led up to the reason why they are the way they are today. So there is no coincidence, there is no magic. There is just the law of the universe, which is the principle of cause and effect. There are going to be results. There are going to be results. So this is another example I can give you for programming the mind. I have a pen here. Let's say I took this pen and I said, this is my magic pen. This is my program. Alexander the Great's mother told him that he was the son of a god. So Alexander went around and thought he was invincible. That's a program. Okay? You have to be careful as well what you say to children or what they hear you say. Okay? Sometimes I talk to people and they say, oh, no, I don't, he's shy. And I have to cut him. I say, stop. Don't say that around him. You're programming the mind. Don't program his mind with that. Tell him he's smart. Tell him he's great. He's better. Right? So this is a programming. And it doesn't matter how kooky, how goofy it looks. It doesn't matter. What matters is that this is the only thing that determines a successful person from an unsuccessful person. The programming. If I take this pen, I say this is my lucky magic pen. And when I tap my forehead 3 times, 1, 2, 3, it means I'm going to have a great day. That is a programming, right? That's how simple it is, right? Another programming is, these are my glasses right here. These are my lucky glasses. And when I put these glasses on, it means that I'm going to get $1 million. You see, it doesn't matter if it's true or not. Universal law still takes place. Cause and effect still takes place. And it's still a mental universe. Mental universe is going to still take place. I just program my mind with something. And now, because of that, I have to go to the next law of the universe, which says the other law of the universe that we went over that says cause and effect. So because I just said when I put on these glasses, I get $1 million. Now, this is where I become a scientist. Because now I'm doing an experiment. You see, the law of cause, the principle of cause and effect still has to take place. So now that I said this is going to happen, now I have to watch and see what happens. I have to see what the results are. Okay? All right, let me begin wrapping things up. So, if a person wants to create change in the habits and in their thoughts, the first thing they have to do is take action. Like we said, the bum has to take action and find a cardboard box. You have to take action first of all to get closer to the truth and to be able to change and program the mind, reprogram the mind, right? You have to take action to change a already existing action and a thought. So if you have a habit of doing one thing, you have to take action to do another thing. If you have a thought, you have to take action and come up with a different thought. First thing is take action, right? And you create these changes in the habits and in the thoughts By what? What do we say? You have to reprogram the mind. And the way you do this is you become a scientist. You begin to create experiments to reprogram the mind. Instead of me taking one pen and saying this is my lucky pen I'm gonna tap, maybe I'll try another pen the next day. Well, I'm gonna try this pen. Maybe I have a lucky shirt. Maybe I have lucky drawers. Maybe I have lucky socks. Maybe I have a lucky ring. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter what people think. Don't let other people dictate and control your reality, because that's what was happening the whole time. That's what the teachers in school did. That's what your parents did. That's what religion did. They laughed. They said this is this is that. They use superstition. They use culture. They use tradition to program you. And you have to take back your own mind and program it the way that you want to program it. Okay? Remember what I was saying earlier. There could be 1,000 people saying that they want to become a great baseball player and play in the major leagues, and none of them did the same stuff. They all did different things, but they still all ended up in a similar condition with similar results. Why? Because they moved with their intention towards their truth, and as that happened, that they kept doing it and doing it and doing it until they all got into the major leagues, and they're all playing baseball now. And they did it programming their mind all in different ways. So you can program your mind in your own way. Nobody can tell you that it's the right way or the wrong way. You have to become a scientist, and you have to experiment for yourself. Okay? Remember also what I said about the twins. The two twins programmed their minds differently because of the same external situation that happened to them. And now, because of that, they grew up and they have different results in their life. One says this, one says that. So it doesn't matter, guys. You're going to have to program your mind and let go of what everybody else thinks and what they say. Let go of the previous programmings. Okay, you can program or do whatever you want. There was a time where I would say to myself, when I go through a drive-through at a fast food restaurant, and there's a girl in the the cashier or whatever, if she messes my order up, it's because I made her feel a little bit clumsy, and that clumsiness shows me that she likes me and she wants to talk to me. She's trying to come up with a reason to continue the conversation so that we have to communicate back and forth more. I program my mind with this, and I said this to myself, and it worked. It happened every time. Every single time I go to the fast food, and the girl, hopefully she was cute, right? She messed up my order. I immediately went into it. I said, no, she likes me. And then I start talking to her, and I would get her phone number. We'd meet afterwards, and things would develop from there. This is a programming of the mind. It doesn't matter if it's true or not. What matters is that I program my mind, and the universal law of cause and effect still has to take place somehow.